Harden with 31 and 9 assists in the game. So that's 11.
No, I don't do that.
What about moving this thing forward? How many more do we get? 7 of 8. Brendan Haywood on the road coming up. What do you see here?
Well, listen, this Houston team, they're very dynamic. They can beat anybody. They've proven they have the best record in the NBA. I don't know when the streak's going to stop, but listen, I'm just going to keep enjoying it right now.
Well, I'm looking at this, Brendan and Casey. It's like West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, East Coast, West Coast. That's going to be a tough trip for them. If they can come out of this one, this is where you need.
No, I'm gonna say, is that Toronto game a Sunday game?
I didn't get a chance to see it.
I'm going to say they're going to lose in Toronto. It's going to keep it going all the way to Toronto.
Okay.
I look at the cities that you guys
You
play.
say where they're going to go out.
You know, like when Boston was winning this year,
by the way,
I said they were going to lose when they played
It's all right.
Miami.
Mavericks and Wizards fans, it tells you how he looked at his
You're talking
career.
about the cities. We do that too.
I was actually just going to throw to Biggs, which is rare. But let's talk about Clint Capella first, because we never focus on him enough with Harden and with CP3, but again, huge in the win and has been on the streak.
Clint Capella is probably the second to third most important guy on this team because what he does is he's a dynamic roller. And he activates the weak side of his defense. He also gives him a little bit of bang inside. You see him right there with the nice jump hook. He's improved his offensive game. But the best thing he does is run the court, screen, and roll to the basket hard. When he rolls to the basket, he causes a problem. Because if you do not come all the way over, he'll dunk the ball like that right there. And then when the other weak side guard or the weak side defender comes over to give extra help, that's when you see James Harden skipping the ball to the weak side and guys like P.J. Tucker and some of those other weak side shooters, Eric Gordon, getting easy shots. So Clint Capella, his roles activate everything on the weak side of that Houston offense.
And just to add to that, I want to ask you, Brendan, when you talk about roles for all the young guys out of there, you're talking about when he's set and how quickly he gets out of there.
Yes, he rolls hard, and sometimes he slips. So sometimes he'll set the screen, and then he'll just be out of there before you know it, and that's how he gets to the rim. So
let me ask you a question. What if I put a 6'6" guy on Capella and a 6'6" guy on James Harden, and we just switch pick and roll? Do you think he has enough to take a guy 6'6" down on the post to be able to post him up?
It depends on who the 6'6" guy is. If we're talking about a 6'6" guy, like
the Warriors, well, what about me?
Like Drake,
I could be standing you up. Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute, Smitty. Hey, Smitty, wait a minute.
Barbecue chicken.
Hey, Smitty ran up on me.
He wasn't prepared.
Yeah,
he wasn't
Smitty ran up on me.
He wasn't prepared.
But what I am saying is a guy like maybe a Draymond Green,
right.
I don't think he has enough for him. But if it's a smaller guy, Clint Capella can get to a 1 to 2 dribble jump hook.
Klay Thompson?
Oh, yeah, he can walk Klay Thompson down to the block.
Clearly, as they could see, one mic, not enough for the two of you. But we wondered before the season segue, if one basketball would be enough, Harden and Paul. But they proved all season and did tonight. Even when they don't shoot well, Smitty, the ball movement between the two and with the rest of the team has just worked in sync all season.
It's unbelievable chemistry. And the one thing is, I do see Chris Paul adding a three-point shot a little bit more. But he shot it well last season with the Clippers. I love the way these two right now are collapsing the defense, and they definitely are kicking out. So you have two guys that are doing this. When we watched last in the playoffs, you take away James Harden, that offense was kind of stagnant, right? But now you can see, good job. Nobody wants to leave Chris Paul. You have another guy who can make plays. Brendan talked about it. Their chemistry together is unbelievable, Harden and Capella, but I love the way Chris Paul has been able to find guys as well. You have two guys that's diamond.
Yeah, like you said, when you have Chris Paul, it's definitely another point guard out there when you have him and Harden. They find guys. Listen, a lot of guys don't get a chance to play with one guy that averages 8 assists or better. This team has two guys that average 8+ assists. That means that ball is always rotating around the perimeter. They're always looking for their teammates. They're not looking for the good shot. Houston is looking for the great shot, and guys like Chris Paul and Harden make sure they get those shots.
What I love also, Brendan, they are not turning the basketball over a lot as a team.
Got to value
5 and 3, those guys, but everybody else is catch and shoot, so not a lot of turnovers.
Everybody knows their role.
Yes.
See, that's why they don't turn the ball over, because you know what?
I like standing you up, though.
I was going to say,
wait a minute, Smitty. Wait a minute, Smitty. Hey, now I was ready this time. I was ready this time. I walked you down there. I was ready this time.